I am recording. Yep, whenever you like. Well, I am an expert, so I'm so happy I could be here for you. Not sure on what that expertise is in, but but I am here for you. Hello, sir. Uh, I am Brent Hand of the Hysteria 51 podcast. It's a comedy show. We talk about the world of the weird and everything in it, and been talking to you for years and years, sir. Wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. And our tagline is the truth is out there, but you won't find it here. So there, no, no. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. Yeah. Well, we become friends, and just from you're listening, we were interacting, then we started talking, outside of this. Then we've done shows together for other podcasts that I was producing and stuff, and it's funny how that it happens. That's how the world works now. It's not friendships aren't always the person that you're sitting next to at the pub or at church or work or something like that. They come in different forms because the world's so much smaller in some ways. Wow. Isn't that crazy? Hmm. Well, it's a lot of people are more guarded. Maybe I don't have the skeletons in my closet, or maybe I'm just pretending. But, when I wanted to do my show and I wanted to be, I didn't want to pretend to be someone I wasn't. And I think that came through, and in other ways too. I've been on shows talking about my struggles with mental health and growing up and things like that. And I just tried to always be, hey, this is who I am. I don't want to say take it or leave it, but you know what I mean? Like, for better or worse, this is what you get, kind of thing. Yeah. 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 Absolutely. Hmm. 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 Right. Hmm. Hmm. Right. Well, you say lewd indecency. Sometimes being exposed in the way you're talking about is almost more not jarring, but scary. It can be. You know what I mean? Peek behind the curtain. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Well, growing up, I was born in '79. I grew up in the '80s and '90s. My mother, I lived in a house where my mother was mad all the time. It was a very uh, angry. She disciplined us with silent treatment and things like that, and there was not a lot of thought of mental health, and you didn't know what was wrong. And I suffered from depression, and it wasn't until I got a little older and I realized that what was going on, and I went and I got help. And unfortunately at that time, it still had stigma, and it still does to this day. But I always tell people, if you have high blood pressure, you treat it. If you have any other disease, you treat it. But why is there a stigma for mental health? There's a disorder, or maybe there's a chemical imbalance, like it could be causing anything. Go get help. But too many people either don't realize it, which is a lot of it. You don't, nothing, when you stub your toe and it hurts and you go to the doctor or something, that's a little easier than something you've had your whole life that has just been an issue. You don't realize, you just think that's me. But what if there's a better you, or a different you out there? Um, Growing up, it was just something that we didn't talk about until much later on. And my mother, like I said, I had a lot of issues. And then when I was graduated from college and older, she realized that she had mental health issues and went and started getting help. And unfortunately, I was a little bit angry because it felt like, why didn't you do this sooner? But that was wrong on me. You know what I mean? Because there is the right time is whenever you do it. You know what I mean? But growing up with someone who has issues of depression or mental health, and it's untreated, or maybe it's treated and just not treated well, or issues, it can take a toll, and you don't know how to breach it with people. You don't know sometimes even anything's wrong other than this is my life. You know what I mean? This is my opinions on my life, and it might not work for you. It might not even be working for me. But this is what I say. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Right. Right. That's exactly right. And they used to say, "Oh, you're a woman, you're a wife. They would put you in a home or give you a lobotomy." Men were taught to hold it in, hold it down. Don't let those things out. Both of which are horrifying in different ways, but horrifying. And I'm gonna. You spoke of someone, and I wanna sing his praises. Kevin Crispin. He hosts Sad Times podcast. It's a fantastic show. He has struggled with depression, OCD, many things his entire life. I went to college. I'm a couple years older than Kevin, and I remember I met Kevin. We became very close friends, and he was the first person that when I met him was like, "Yeah, I struggle with mental health." And I'm like, "What? Like, why would you say that?" You know what I mean? Like, not looking down on him, like startling. And then he made me realize it's okay. You know what I mean? And it's okay to be vulnerable, not just to be vulnerable and not to milk that or to use it, but to be like, "Hey man, I can't, I'm not going to tell you, hey man, I'm going to go help you lift that couch if I got a bad back." You know what I mean? I feel like he was the first one to be like, "Yeah, like I'm not in a good headspace. I need to be away from things like that." And he's made a living his whole life. And now he does it for, this is what he does is he talks about these issues with people. And it really was eye-opening for me to see someone, a peer, a friend, be like, "Yeah, that's cool." And maybe it was because I was in college and more people were open to it, but I grew up on a farm in the middle of nowhere. And like I said, I had a mother who was angry all the time and lashed out and, a disciplinarian, and because she was unhappy. And then all of a sudden, like, hey, it's okay. It was a 180-degree switch to me to even have someone be like, "Yeah, this is normal, and do your best to make the best of it." Yeah, that's the thing. We don't. we, the proverbial we, don't talk like that or didn't, and like you said, it was looked down on, unfortunately, because, keep your head down and, be a man, be a man. Well, sometimes being a man means saying that, hey, I need help, whatever that help might be. That's just a grandiose full thing. 'Tis the season. Right. I hear you there. As I'm moving to Tennessee from just next to Chicago, the town Berwyn, Illinois, and they always, we have the lake effect because we're right next to the Great Lakes. So, it's that whole if you don't like the weather, wait 15 minutes because it changes all the time. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. The only thing I will say that everyone doesn't realize is because of the lake and everything, we have 90s to 100% humidity all the time. So it's just as humid there. Everyone's like, get ready for the humidity. I'm like, ugh, that's the only thing I'm not escaping down here. Speaking of things that'll make you depressed, just going outside and, oh man, it looks like I jumped in the swimming pool. you know, yeah. Yeah, that's a hard thing to get used to, but I'll trade it for the urban sprawl any day. Which was, speaking of, not getting off topic, but talking about that, I grew up on a farm in a town of, I grew up in the country outside of a town of 700. Then I went to college. Then we moved to, I am directly next to Chicago. So you wouldn't know if you're in my town or Chicago. You don't know when it ends and another city begins. I've been there for 13 years, let's say. I am so ready to get out. And that was one of the things we were pushing is that's just not the real world to me. And that gives me stress, just the hustle and bustle and things like that. Sometimes a move or something like that can be good for your mental health, or at least my anxiety, because I get anxiety about a lot of things, and now I'm at least removing the constant traffic and stress and everything out of there and changing it for something else, I'm sure. Oh my God, it's so much slower. It's great, you people, as that sounds so terrible. You're the southern I'm not in a hurry is something to get used to because it's a little hard to get used to. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, amen, right? I hear you. Yep, yep. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, yeah. Hmm. Yeah. uh I'm writing this down. Hmm. Yeah. That's a powerful thing to even try to wrap your head around. It takes a long time to realize that it's okay to not be okay. Mm-hmm. 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 Well, happy birthday to you early, but yes. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 36, I think, is the top. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. 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 Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Never. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 The crisis intervention, whatever you want to call it, sometimes the shock, the I mean, you're in shock, you know, picking up. But what you're doing now is something that a lot of people don't is I mean, you're taking a terrible situation and you're going, I want you, everyone out there, to understand what I went through and understand that there are things and steps and stuff. That is huge. And it's hard. I say it's hard. I can't even imagine what you have went through, what this is for you, what you going on sad times talking, what you standing in front of people preaching about these things, how hard it is, but you're doing that and helping others. That shows your character and your I don't want to say your worth, but it shows who you are as a person. And taking something like this and saying, I want others to benefit from something, if you can, from something so terrible, and kudos to you. It is an amazing thing that the Lord's even allowed you to be able to do that. Thank you is the point. And I don't know how to say that properly. Because you went through something that no one ever, the Lord will never give you more than you can handle, but sometimes I'm sure you probably wish he didn't trust you so much, is an understatement. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because, yeah. And that might come back, you know, I'm sure it will, but you're not the same person because you can't be. Because what we go through, good or bad, my childhood, your childhood, everything, it shapes who you are, that changes the things. And, the things that comfort you, might not work, but then you're never going to be okay. With it's never going to be a happy thing or anything like that. That's the wrong way to say it, but you know what I mean. It's never going to go away. It'll always be there, but things will come back where you're like, you know what? I can still find myself going back to these other things because that's how life works. Because we do allow ourselves, hopefully, to grow all the time, and that's what you should be. Everyone, I hopefully hope would be. You're striving for, because staying sedentary in anything is usually not the way to be, and that includes sulking or happiness. Whether your happiness is brought by, can be drugs or alcohol or anything like that. It's fleeting. Don't allow it to become all encompassing. That's true. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. That's the cup of a carpenter. Yeah, but hey, that's awesome. Uh-huh. Mm, mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You, me both, right? But yeah. 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 Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's that. Like I collect Green Lantern. I've collected it since I was a child. It's my thing. And I'm unapologetic about it though. So there you go. Yes. It's still in my home studio. I haven't taken that stuff down. I have a bunch of, well, I have two things there. Well, not two. I have some pictures from you. Also, a few years ago, you sent me a Tennessee flag, and I've had that hanging at my house in my home studio. And it's funny. My wife Lisa and I were like, we should put that out. We have a flagpole. We should finally put that up here now instead of just hanging in the house. Right? That's what I'm saying. You were just like, you were putting that magic on me. Like, here's your future. Right. Hmm. Wives tend to do that. I've got one of those. I don't know if you know. Hmm. 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 Yeah. Yep. Well, it's a stopgap. No matter what you're doing, it's not the answer. I think we all know that. But sometimes people do that, and if you're using it to manipulate someone, that's even further off. But anything you're doing that's fulfilling it, but it's an easy cycle to fall into. But man, you'll feel so much better if you do go and get help or treat it the right way. But sometimes that's harder, and it sounds crazy to say it's harder to go and talk to someone than it is to cut yourself or to do stuff like that. But that's a fact. It really is. It is harder in a lot of ways. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. 4 hours. My family's full of preachers. That's the longest 4 hours. A lot more than 40 hours a week usually. So you ain't got to sell me on that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Yeah. You should leave being mad sometimes. You should leave feeling railroaded. You should leave feeling relieved. There's going to be things like it's not supposed to be easy. If it was easy, it wouldn't. Well, if it's easy, it doesn't. It's not working. Well, you said two or three. That's how you go to find out if you like the person or not. If that's someone that their style. After that, then you keep going to figure out how to like yourself. Or to deal with yourself because that's why you should be going. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Speaking of, there you go. Our next guest, Ryan Reynolds. He's paying my bills. Mint Mobile is one of our big sponsors now on our show, so I'm happy with Ryan Reynolds at the moment. There you go, right? Dixon is next to me. I'm not afraid. I'm in Kingston Springs. We can tell them. They can all come over. It's fine. I'm 15 minutes from Nashville. Dixon's a town over. I'm right there. Yeah. Heck yeah. Cutting your arm off, insurance, going to see your therapist. Yeah. 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 Insurance going. Yeah. And that's the truth. You really do have to restart. Hmm. Yeah. 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 Right. Right. That's such a hard, right. The body language, just the physical cues you can't get through that way. I hear you. Yeah. Yeah. Money penny. Yeah. Uh-huh. But sometimes a dog is exactly what you need is they don't care in a good way. You know what I mean? They're like, "Hey, I'm here for you no matter what." And sometimes if it's, if you can't be comfortable around people, sometimes an animal's what you need or vice versa. Um, that's why they use them for a lot of therapies and stuff. And it's not for everyone. I'm just saying sometimes it can be a good thing to learn with again. Uh-huh. It's funny, right? Who knew? They just put them in there and they multiply. No, I've seen you are right. They look like, well, kind of like mice do when they're young. Ooh, they are not pretty at all. Oh Lord, yeah. Oh wow. What a crazy pet that we go, I want that, you know? No, but right, but humans though, I mean, the proverbial we all the hmm hmm Yeah. hmm Oh wow. Right? You're like you're like terrified. Mm-mm. No, I know what comes next. Yeah, right. They know. They're like messing with you. Oh. hmm Nope. Yeah. Pass. And just walks out. Like, nope. Yep. They do. There's memes like smartest henchman in Batman history. Nope. Thank you. Oh, that's funny. Well, thank you for having me, and it's such a an important day for you, and an important day for everyone to not forget these things and to remember, the things that shape us, and you're strong beyond belief, and you're more important doing these things than you could ever imagine. Mm-hmm. Travel it, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It was loud. It was loud last night. Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for allowing me into your show and your life like this, and I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Sure. I think I've seen this before. Let me look. Yeah, it does. It really does. Yep. Sitting on the throne. Well, that's what you get. The worst and best curse your kids ever give you is when you have kids, I hope they act just like you. You take that back. Hmm. You're not alone. And what you're going through might seem like you're on an island. You're not, and there is help, no matter how hard it feels like. And, if you're not the one struggling, be there for the person who is, no matter how hard it is, because they feel like they're alone and they're not. And I think that's what happens to so many people is they just feel like they get to a point where no one can help and there's always help. And you just got to be willing to accept it or find it or take it or whatever that means. Mhm. 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 Yeah. Wow. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. Right. Yeah, it wasn't. Yes. When anyone gets to that point, it's whatever they can do, but it's easier to blame yourself because, that's what we do as humans. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. Mm. No, I'm with you. Like, and I tell that people all the time. Like, I talk to people through Messenger and stuff all the time. Like, I'm available. Anyone should, like, if you need help, don't hesitate to ask. Period. Mm-hmm. 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 Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, and I can't thank you enough for allowing me. All right.